I really didn't expect to have to make this video. I really should wait for the actual video I want to do on the rest of this franchise. But this movie is just so bonkers to me, and it's so weird. And the sad part is, it's not that weird until the very, very end. And it's so weird. It might be one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen before. And I've seen other movies that are should be way weirder, like Hop and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. But somehow, but here's the thing about those movies. Those movies don't have, they're not part of a franchise. I guess Monty Python might be, but they're not part of another franchise that will build off of this. This movie is a continuation of a story, so it basically just derails everything that the last few movies did. So that's what makes it even weirder. So Jack? What are you talking about? What's weird? What movie is so weird that you have to make an entire video just to talk about it? Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is so weird. It's so bonkers to me. They had a fantastic trilogy back in the 80s, and then 19 years later, Steven Spielberg decides to go back and just revive it with old Indiana Jones. Why not? And the sad part is, most of the movie is actually pretty good. The first 40 minutes-ish are, they have the same, Indiana Jones style from the 80s. It genuinely feels like a continuation. But then, after that, it's just weird. Shia LaBeouf here. I mean, he's not annoying or anything like some of the other movies he did, but, he's there. And I like his chemistry with Indy until he figures out that until Indy figures out that he's Shia's dad. And it feels so weird. Another thing, Marion's back, and I feel like they didn't have a lot of chemistry. They had one argument when they meet, and then they're in love again. Sure, why not? That was so fast. So that's weird. But what they need to search for is the Crystal Skull. They find that, and probably before the first hour of the movie is done out of this 2-hour movie. That's weird. They found it, and now they have to keep up with it, I guess. I don't know. So that's weird. And then in the very end, they stumble across the interdimensional beings, temple, I think. I don't really know. It's so weird. And then it's you really have to watch the movie. This video will not be very long. But and in the very end, they're really trying to recreate the climax of Raiders, which just does not work. Just too much power, bit on more than you can chew. And then an alien comes in. Yeah, that's real. That happens in the movie. A terrible CGI alien. I'm gonna find a picture of it. Let's see. Aliens. Crystal Skull. It's terribly CGI'd. It is terrible. There's a very fuzzy picture of it, but there it is. That is terrible. Oh, here's a better picture. This is real. This wasn't a movie made by Steven Spielberg. After directing the first 3, he thought, huh? This is not. And then that's not even the worst part. After the alien, there's a UFO coming out of the ground. I shouted out, "What is happening?" This does not feel like an Indiana Jones movie anymore with aliens. Sure, the climax of Raiders is insane. Temple of Doom, the whole movie is insane. But it's not as insane as this climax. Because with the first 3, you can believe that this really happened because it feels historical. But this is just ridiculous. This made me believe that it is fictional. And it is. It is. I have to believe that. But it doesn't feel like it. It feels stupid. Like, I genuinely think that Star Wars, a movie that takes place in a different galaxy, is more realistic than the climax of this movie. It's so weird, but manages to still feel like an Indiana Jones movie in the first hour. How did it do that? How did Steven Spielberg think this was a good idea? It's not even bad. I can't call this movie bad, but I can call it weird because Steven Spielberg, like, he made Last Crusade. The last movie he made of the Indiana Jones franchise was Last Crusade, one of my favorite movies of all time. And then he followed it up with this. This makes me really excited to watch Dial of Destiny, which I haven't seen yet, but now I really want to see if it's as bonkers as this one. It's so weird. Like, it's not even bad. But I just had to talk about how weird it is. If you haven't seen Crystal Skull, you don't really need to. You could skip. You could skip the last two movies. Just watch the trilogy. The trilogy is actually pretty good. I was really going into it. I thought, okay, I really hope this movie is better than Temple of Doom because Temple of Doom is just weird. It's like not as weird as this. It's really dark, which I think is why it's not anyone's real favorite movie, like of this franchise. But I found it fine. The ending of Temple of Doom. Okay, I need to stop talking because I have to save it for the video. But Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is a 5 out of 10. It would have been a 6 if it wasn't for that bonkers ending and horrible CGI alien. If you want to watch it to be curious, sure, but you're really not missing anything by skipping it. That's all from me. I just wanted to talk about Crystal Skull.